NBC 10 breaking news.
We begin with two breaking stories on NBC 10 News at 6. A state trooper in Delaware has been killed after a shooting at the DMV in Wilmington. Also tonight, an explosion and collapse at a nursing home in Bristol, Bucks County has left multiple people injured. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro just gave an update from that scene. Take a listen.
Leaders who have been here this evening. We're joined by Commissioner Bob Harvey from our county, as well as Senator Sanacero and others who I know will make their way here. As I said, this is a very, very tragic moment for this community. An explosion occurred just a few hours ago. There are investigations underway as to what caused that explosion. The PUC is here on the ground working with PICO. We believe preliminarily that it was a gas leak that led to that. The explosion was really quite catastrophic. We know that at this time there are at least 2 fatalities. We know that there are some number of individuals still missing. I want to say that in the immediate moments after the explosion, you saw what real heroism is all about. Firefighters rushed to this scene in order to contain the explosion, in order to put out the fire, and most importantly, in order to rescue people. They were quite literally climbing up ladders, handing individuals in this nursing home to police who were at times carrying 2 people on their back to safety. I think that too often times in our communities we don't appreciate that type of heroism, and that is what was on display here in Bucks County today. Police officers literally carrying people to their safety, firefighters rushing toward a fire as others were trying to get away in order to keep this community safe, in order to stop the fire from spreading, and in order to be in a position today where thank God things were not worse than we know they already are. There will be a lot more information we learn over the next hours here in Bucks County. There's still a lot of unanswered questions. You'll have to bear with us as we seek to confirm the number of individuals who were injured, as we seek to confirm the number of individuals who are missing. And there will still be an ongoing review as to how this happened. I will tell you, as it relates to the facility, there are new owners of this facility as of just a few weeks ago, beginning this month, in the month of December. The Department of Health at the state level conducted a visit here on December 10th, and there was a plan put in place in order for these new facility owners to upgrade the standards at this facility. That work will obviously continue with the new owners to ensure that they do what is necessary to keep residents safe at this facility and at the others where they are being taken to. With that, I want to turn it over to our fire chief, followed by our police chief, to share some additional words. And we'll do our best to answer some questions. But again, I want to stress this is early. This information is preliminary, and I expect that there will be further updates this evening. Chief.
Thank you, Governor. This afternoon at 2:19, the explosion occurred. The facility is located directly across from one of our rescue squads, right next to the Lower Bucks Hospital, in close proximity to the fire department. When the explosion occurred, the radios lit up with reports of the explosion at the Silver Lake Nursing Home. Fire department responded quickly, was on scene within a couple of minutes. When we arrived, there was a major structural collapse with parts of the first floor into the basement with persons trapped. Fire department personnel immediately went into a rescue mode. They pulled many residents out of the building via windows, doors, stuck in stairwells, stuck in elevator shafts. Those who were outside the building already injured, and those that were being brought out by the fire department were handed off to the police officers, which came from every direction, and I believe every municipality around here, and were literally carrying the patients. As we handed them off to them, they were carrying patients, and as the governor said, there was one police officer who literally threw 2 people over his shoulders and ran with people to help, to definitive health care. It was nothing short of extraordinary, the operation that was taking place. When we entered the collapse zone, we did rescue 2 people from the actual collapsed structure in the basement. We did have a heavy odor of gas at that time. We got everyone out that we could find, that we could see, and we exited the building. Within approximately 15 to 30 seconds of us exiting the building, knowing there was a heavy odor of natural gas around us, there was another explosion and fire. We kept the fire in check without giving up the source. The fire actually helped us identify where the leak was coming from in the basement, and we just prevented it from spreading into other parts of the building. Chief, turn it over to the Chief of Bristol Township Police Department, C.J. Winnick.
Thank you, Chief. As the governor said, this is an extreme tragedy that happened to a vulnerable portion of our community at a nursing home. We responded to these calls, and everything that we did was nothing short of heroic. These officers, firefighters, EMTs, nurses that came from the hospital, we called over docs. We went into that building with a structure that was still in the situation of collapse and gas odors. I'd like to thank everybody from the surrounding agencies that responded. We had Montgomery County, Philadelphia, and throughout Bucks County, police officers, firefighters, EMTs, squads, ambulances, and Lower Bucks Hospital, St. Mary's Hospital, Frankfurt Torresdale, area Torresdale Hospital, took in patients from this disaster. And I'd like to thank all those people for their participation in this tragic event.
One additional comment, the township declared a disaster emergency shortly into this incident so that we could bring in the additional resources such as Philadelphia Rescue 1 and PA Task Force 1 for their specialized equipment to assist us in stabilizing the building and being able to search through the rubble, lift concrete. We also have heavy machinery here from some of our area contractors that are helping us move the heavy debris from the pile so that we can continue digging into the pile.
Thank you. Bob Harvey, Chair of the Bucks County Board of Commissioners. I want to also recognize 2 of our state representatives, Tina Davis and Jim Prokopiak, our State Senator Steve Sinicero. Bristol Township Council President Craig Bowen is here. Bristol Borough Council President Ralph Giuseppe is here. Congressman Fitzpatrick. George Wilson from Bucks County Emergency Management. When the calls came in, the Bucks County Emergency Operations Center was activated and fielded calls from all over the region, including from Burlington County and Mercer County, offering assistance of any kind. We deeply appreciate all of those offers, and we, as you heard, can't add much more to what you already were told about the heroism, the swift action of all the first responders here, and to the hospital staff here, who really took the lion's share of the residents, from this facility to make sure they were safe. Reunification with families is ongoing. It is a process that we're working on. We thank Bristol Township School District for offering Truman High School for family members who are searching for who had residents or family members here as residents. We're asking that you go to Truman High School. The reunification process will happen that way. We want to make sure that we have people identified here, that they're safe, and then we can reach out and contact family and have them, be reunited. So,
thank you, Commissioner. As I said, a lot of this information is preliminary. We're happy to try and take a few general questions if you have any.
How many are missing?
We believe there's 5 unaccounted for, but they may have left the scene with family members.
Yeah, I want to stress that these numbers are in flux. It may be that someone was there and had left. It may be that someone thought that someone was there and had left. I want to be very careful with these numbers as to how many are missing. There'll be updates throughout the evening.
How many are injured?
Do you have a ballpark estimate on the number of injuries that you have? I know the governor said something.
We don't know the total number of injuries because they've gone to so many different hospitals, but I will say that we are still in rescue mode until we know the building is clear.
And just while I have you here, what can you say about your firefighters, police officers, first responders?
Absolute heroics.
Yeah.
And as I said, the police officers were coming from every direction in every municipality around here. I saw police officer patches from 2-3 municipalities away that were helping us out, get people from away from the building. So it was an absolute all team effort. It was outstanding. I can't say enough about all fire personnel, EMS, and the police department.
Do you have any preliminary cause?
We don't.
No cause?
Okay, thank you.
Not just like for the rest of the night. So the recovery mode is that still happening right now? Or is that still
We're still in rescue mode. We have not transitioned into a recovery mode. So we will continue on that path of rescuing and digging into the basement with the heavy machinery assisting us. And then there are fire and technical rescue personnel in the collapse right now digging by hand. Using sonar, we've used dogs down there to help us with our search. We are not ready to claim this as a recovery yet. We're still in rescue mode.
You said there was a second explosion or anyone responded?
No.
Look,
Do you have any idea how many people were there today when it happened, approximately?
We're not sure of the total count of how many people they had in the building. We're relying on them to tell us which patients are accounted for, which we believe all the patients are accounted for that were residents here. There may be an employee that we're looking for, but even that's not confirmed.
What do you say about this community as a whole?
I'm sorry, I can't hear
What do
you.
you say about this community as a whole? There were residents who tried to step in and help as soon as they heard and saw what happened.
The nearby residents were outstanding. We had residents coming out of their houses offering to help us. And then, there came a time when their safety was being compromised because we had the next explosion.
Look, I think this is the Pennsylvania way. Neighbors helping neighbors in a moment of need. You saw that here in Bristol. You saw that here in Bucks County. This is how we do this. I would just ask all Pennsylvanians to join Lori and I in prayer for this community, for those who are still missing, for those who are injured, and for those families who are about to celebrate Christmas with an empty chair at their table. There'll be further updates this evening. I again want to thank the chief, both chiefs, and all of the leadership here in Bucks County. They're doing an extraordinary job in a really, really difficult situation.
Can you tell us the two people who died, are they rescuers?
We're listening in on a press conference here with state and local leaders. Governor Josh Shapiro saying early reports of that explosion and collapse at the nursing home here in Bucks County was a gas leak that led to that explosion. He said right now there are 2 confirmed fatalities, still many people unaccounted for. Officials, though, say they are still in rescue operations at this time.